G'day guys, and welcome to another adventure, this one being the crossing of the Simpson Desert. This morning I've left Sydney on my way down to Melbourne to marry up with the other Desert Storm team members, being Brendon, Tom, Mark and Brendon. And I've come to a little town about 350k southwest of Sydney called Gundagai, and this little town's famous for the dog on the tucker box. However, there's no dog on this tucker box, it's missing. I think they're doing some restoration work. But anyway, I've caught in here and I've had a quick bite to eat, stretched the legs, I checked the straps on the bike behind me, make sure it's all travelling well, and yeah, the sun is shining, it is a beautiful day, it's a perfect day to start an adventure, so let's get back on the road. Now I'm travelling on the Hume Highway, which is the main highway between Sydney and Melbourne. It's roughly about 900 kilometres long, depending on where you start and where you finish. I still have about 500k to go, so I'm not quite halfway, but it's an easy drive. Most of this highway, or pretty much all of it, nearly is 110k an hour, depending on if there's any work zones. It is dual lane, divided highway. And as well, it's pretty scenic. So we are travelling over and through and around the Great Dividing Range, which is a range that runs all the way up the eastern side of this great country. And yeah, so it's quite scenic, it's quite green, and the driving's not hard at all. So yeah, got the music going and a couple of phone calls just to keep myself entertained, a couple of stops on the way, and I'll be in Melbourne before you can say Simpson Desert. So anyway, I'll see you further on. And here we are, crossing into Victoria. Goodbye New South Wales, and hello Victoria. We just fueled up and left the town of Albury, and we're about to go through the outskirts of Wodonga. Well, I'm under 100k to go to Melbourne, not far at all. I've just pulled over here for a last minute stretch, a bit of a leak, and check the straps on the bike. So I'll be at Nerb's place within an hour, I hope, and just have a look at the country here. It's so green, it's so beautiful. I'll spin you around, have a look. Just such lovely country, just rolling hills, and so lush and green. You know, you wouldn't think you're only 90 odd kilometres from Melbourne. So yeah, the little ute's going great. The bike is strapped in nice and tight still. Happy with that. All the bags look on there. The weather's looking a little bit ominous. You know, look at those clouds up there. So I'm hoping it's not going to rain and everything gets wet before I get to Nerb's. So anyway, that's me on the road signing off for tonight. The next time I speak to you and see you will be on the bike on the Simpson Desert proper. So I'll see you then. Well, good morning, and the adventure has started. We are making our way through the outskirts of Melbourne, and we are heading over towards Calder Park, I believe, to meet Tom and the other Brendon. So the Melbourne city's all the way down there. And yeah, as you can see, it's a bit overcast. It's a coolish morning, but perfect riding conditions. It rained a little bit last night, but where we're heading, I don't think it's going to be raining. Looks like the clouds are hanging around the coastline, so it's really good. So we've got our Nerb, he's just in front on his big 1190, and there's Mark on his Husqvarna Terra 650, and we'll have a look at that later and the different setups. But for now, just saying hello, the adventure's started, and yeah, feeling good, feeling excited. So we're not far now, the Calder Park Motorsport racetrack, and I think we're meeting them up here at the servo. So here we are at the McDonald's. We've got all the bikes together, all the boys are together. We're all having a chat. We're about to gear up and head off. So here we go. I'll show you the bikes later on when we get a bit further away from the big smoke. And yeah, this is it. So here we are now, all together. 2 KTMs, 2 Yamahas and 1 Husky. And I will bring up the rear. The Desert Storm team is here. I think now we have a few hundred kilometres up the road to a bakery. So I'll see you further on. So we're still just motoring along through all this farmland in the northwest part of Victoria, heading up towards Mildura. And I haven't been doing much filming because it's pretty boring. We're on the black top and there's not much to see. We're just sitting on 100k an hour on these country roads, and yeah, it's good. So Tom's up the front with Brendon, and then there's Nerb, Mark and myself. So the weather's still pretty cold. I'm on the chilly side. The heated grips are going flat out. I've only got these motocross gloves on, but yeah, not too bad. I could probably do with another layer once we pull up. So we stopped at this little town in Victoria, Witchy Proof, I think it's called. And this is the world's best bakery, apparently. They make really good coffee pies and all sorts of stuff. So Tom and the boys are all in there. I'm about to jump in. So let's have a look at some of the bikes. So here's Tom's little WR 250 beast. The boys are calling these farm bikes, and you can see there, not much on there at all. He is certainly travelling light. Got a new addition on here, being this front kind of pannier on there. Carry some additional stuff. He didn't have that in Goog's track. That's good to see. There's 2 of them. Wolfman, and then Brendon's bike, similar setup to Tom's. So that's travelling light as well. I like it. Very nice. And then here's the Husqvarna, the Terra 650. It is ready to go as well. So huge safari tank on the front. Exxon Valdez on there, plenty of fuel. Got some nice big pegs to stand on there. And yeah, it's a standard load up. Nerv's just up getting some fuel, so we'll see him when he gets back. So we're just coming into Mildura now. We're a couple of K out of the town centre. We've done about, they're close to 600k so far today. So some decent kilometres. And with that has been a couple of very minor little issues that we need to address. And I guess the first one was Mark's Husky with its vanishing oil. It's got plenty of oil in there. We added a bit more oil, but every time we put the dipstick in to check the levels, because it has a dipstick, that bike, there was no oil registry in the dipstick, but we could see it in there anyway. So we'll have a look at that. And then there's Nerb's KTM 1190. It's got too much oil, so we're going to address that. And then Tom's bike, it's the side stand mount, or the bracket that attaches to the frame, has come loose. There's 2 bolts that hold it to the frame, and the one at the bottom is completely rattled out and it's gone, and the bolt on the top is coming loose. So we're doing a bit of repairs on the run by tightening it back up, but we've got to address that. So Tom's going to nip off to Bunnings and see if he can pick up a bolt for the missing one at the bottom. And I'm going to nip off to JB Hi-Fi and see if I can get another battery for my GoPro, as it's burning through the batteries, this new GoPro. Filming on the high resolution, it seems to be using the batteries up, so I'm going to do that. So I'll just quickly tell the guys that's where I'm going to go, and we'll sort something out. So managed to get to the Mildura shopping centre, JB Hi-Fi, picked up another GoPro battery, and this is what I love about Victoria, is you can park your bikes up on the footpath. Can't do that in Sydney, but here you can. So I just follow the lead of the Victorian boys, and they say, yeah, it's fine. So our bikes are up here. So from here, we're going to head across into the South Australian border and over to Renmark for a bit of a supply. Some of the guys are doing it now, and then we're going to continue on to see how far we can get before the sun starts to drop well and truly below the horizon. I'll see you further on. So that's Tom's side stand. That is the bolt that we lost, and that was the one that was coming loose. He's had to buy a new one, which I think is about a 12mm bolt, except it's a I think he said it's a 17mm hex, and he didn't have the spanner or the socket for it, so he had to buy one of those. And then he had to buy the drive attachment because he's only running 1/4 inch, and yeah, so quite a pricey little exercise there. So King Chrome or Sig Chrome, if you're watching, Tom needs a tool sponsor. Okay. Well, we're about to tick off another state for this Simpson Desert adventure. And we're going to be leaving Victoria and entering South Australia. So there we go. This is very reminiscent to when we did the Googs track last year, Tom, Nerb and I. It was a little bit sunnier than what it is now, but we're definitely chasing the sun, trying to make our destination. And now crossing into South Australia, we're going to have that quarantine station a few kilometres up the road, where they're obviously going to ask us, have we got any fruit or veg on board, because you're not allowed to bring any of that across the border from a different state in case you're introducing some kind of pest to this area. So yeah, it's not far up the road. So entering the town of Renmark, we're just on the outskirts, maybe a couple of K to go. We are going over the mighty Murray River. As I said before, it's Australia's longest or biggest river, and I guess of late it's been a point of lengthy discussion between farmers and environmentalists and all sorts of people in the current state and the health and well-being of the river. Well, that's for another discussion, I guess. There's another bloke on a look like a DR 650, the old bush pig. Very nice. All right, we'll see you a bit further on. Here we are at our campground. The boys are all setting up. It's in the dark. Obviously, we rode the last 100k or so with the sun down. I did say that we weren't going to ride in the dark on this adventure, but we managed to get away. Okay? And something's happened on Tom's WR. Like bad melted?
Show us. Oh, mate. We're not even a day in. What was there? Your sleeping bag? Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's not good. What was in there? Did any in there melted?
Lucky. Almost.
Nearly lit up the sleeping bag. That would have gone up in flames, mate. You would have been a bloke.
Socks.
The engine might be bulletproof, but time to set up some camp. So upon stopping here and setting up camp, I've noticed a bit of an oil kind of splatter and spray down around the left side of the bike, and having a good inspection, I kind of reckon it's coming from here. So I've taken the cover off, and then when I felt this nut, it was loose. Now I've knocked down the locking washer there, and you can see there, and I'm not sure if that's causing the oil leak or not. However, I know it should not be loose. So you can see the oil down in there. So we're going to try and tighten that up or inspect that a bit more and see what's going on. So that's where we're at. So the rain is coming. The tent is set up, and if you come down here, you can see little droplets in here, the droplets of rain. Bikes are as much covered up as possible. Had something to eat, and now we're just having a mismatched brew pale ale bought from Renmark, and we're going to go over to the fire. So cheers to day one, done and dusted. Couple of problems, leaky KTM, a burnt pannier, and a few other problems, but hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to fix it. We're still camped here at the Murray River, just short of the town of Morgan, and yeah, it was a good night, nice and cold. You can see behind me the sun is starting to rise. I've just quickly stoked up the fire to get a little bit of last minute warmth before we put that out. But yeah, most of the guys are still asleep just over the back there on the riverbank, and yeah, they're starting to stir. So it was a windy, cold night, but it didn't rain too much, which was really good, because there was a big band of clouds that were coming through, and all the locals at Renmark were saying that it was going to come down tonight. So everything's dry right now, which is the good thing, so it makes pack up not too bad. So anyway, I've got my oil leak to deal with today, and I'm hoping that I just can tighten that nut on the sprocket, which will push that bush in onto the O-ring, and that will stop that leak, because when I took that cover off, that nut was loose. Yeah, so fingers crossed that works, because if it doesn't, it might be a trip or a couple of phone calls to Port Augusta to see if they've got a seal kit for my bike, because I don't want to have to go all the way back down to Adelaide, which is kind of in the wrong direction, to pick up a seal kit from KTM there. Anyway, all right, well, I guess we'll start packing up soon. I'll keep you updated on the bike. So this is our campground on the Murray, and I'll take you around and have a look at the camp setup in a sec. But you can see over the back there, I'll show you, this is the ferry that runs across to a town on that side of the Murray, and Morgan is kind of in that direction, some maybe 10 kilometres, but yeah, it's quite impressive, that big cliff face over there on the banks of the Murray. Luckily we didn't get up there and try and camp. So I didn't think the Murray had such a steep embankment like that. But yeah, beautiful morning. I'm surprised that ferry's there. It doesn't get used that often, but it's running. A couple of ducks, beautiful still water. Alright, let's go and have a look. Again, there's Tom in his super lightweight bivvy setup. He's truly hardcore. That's impressive when you look at that. It's a good effort. Come over The little one there, I think Brendon's still asleep or still resting in there. His little Mac pack, that's sensational. There's Mark's best angle. How you going there, Mark? All right? I better do the intros later on.
Get ready for the day.
Beautiful. He's got a decent size accommodation, and there's Nerb. How you doing, mate?
Alright.
Nice. Went for the tarp setup.
Yeah. There was a bit of rain last night and really windy. So, yeah.
Yeah, very true.
Stay out of it.
Well, we're lucky we didn't get too much.
No.
Yeah. That's it. And then we come over to my one. So again, just a little single man tent, pretty low to the ground, and all the gear on the bike. And we'll come around over here, have a look down here. So there's our oil leak problem, and I've looked in the ground, there's not a lot of oil down there, so it hasn't been dripping excessively overnight, you know, so a little bit of, well, that's not oil, that's actually water from the rain, so I thought that was a pool of oil. It's not. Yeah, so I'm hoping head into town, get something to fit that, or a good socket there, get it torqued up properly, bash the or knock the lock washer back over, and hopefully that will prevent the leak or stop the leak anymore. So cool. Well, we've packed up, ferry is running, we are ready to go and head to Morgan. So quite a lovely morning there. Let's get on the bike. So it's about 9 or 10 kilometres. Not a bad little campground, this one. There's a little hill that we've got to get up to get out of here. And this takes us back up to the main road. And here we are. Alright, to Morgan we go. Looking for a service station or a mechanics of some sort. So we're coming to Morgan, and when I was approaching the town, old mate was here working on his car, and I drove past and saw a socket set, and that's exactly what I needed. So Tom's over the back there. Where's Tom? Tom, you're a legend, mate. Mitchie's mate, they just come back from the Gibberiver Road up at the Kimberleys there, and he's just doing some minor work on his car.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong with it. So he's been kind enough to lend me some tools, and I've come over now and I've tightened that right up and tried to knock that back over, and he's also had some degreaser. So I've degreased a bit, and I'll wash that off, and then I'll be able to see if it's still leaking oil. And if it is, Port Augusta, here we come. Just coming over to thank Tom. Mate, you're a legend, Tom. You've got a jam. Mitch, good to meet you, mate.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks heaps for your help, guys. Have a safe trip back to Melbourne.
Yep.
And really appreciate it, guys. Legend blokes, that's it. So here's a question for you. It's as windy as hell. There's an epic crosswind left to right, and it's blowing us. Why are those windmills not turning? There's a few turning up there, but those ones aren't. I don't understand, because this is crazy. It's about 6 degrees, windy, and we've got about 70k to go to Port before Petersburg. I'm sitting in behind Brendon at the moment, and off to the right of him getting a little bit of wind protection, so we're kind of going to take turns, and then I'll get in front. And as you can see, a bit of rain's coming. Every now and then you get a light shower. There we go, those windmills are spinning. That's what I like to see. Well, there we go. Let's go. So we're not far out of Peterborough now. and it's extremely windy coming from left to right. You have a look. So we're coming into the town of Peterborough now. This town's famous for its locomotives, I think, hence the train there on that little monument thing. And well, I can tell you, that was some of the windiest conditions I've ever ridden a motorcycle on. It was just blowing a gale left to right, and yeah, it wasn't too pleasant, that's for sure. But we've made it here, and I think we're maybe refueling, and I don't know if we're getting a bite or something like that. I'm going to have a quick check of the area where the countershaft seal was leaking, and just make sure that's working all right. So I'm not exactly sure on the connection this town has to steam engines and locomotives and the trains, but I think it was a bit of a central hub where there was plenty of trains getting here, as you can see there. She's cold and windy today. We're off to Hawker now, which is 125 or 130 kilometres up the road. And Brendon, the young Brendon, then just went up the road to grab some supplies, parked on the footpath like he always does because he's from Melbourne or Victoria, and the cops got him. I said, oh no, 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 not in this state, my friend. Lucky enough, they gave him a warning, let him off with a little slap on the wrist, and tail between his leg, he headed back down and says no more parking on the footpath. So we're still heading north towards Lee Creek and Lyndhurst and up to Maree, and we've got the southern end of the Flinders Ranges now on our right, and they're pretty spectacular. These jagged, you know, rock mountain formations just shooting up out of the earth. Awesome, awesome. And I think Tom plans to ride back down through there once we've done the crossing of the Simpson. So that could be another highlight for this trip. So I've the wind's still pretty strong, as you can see with the trees there, and this car's kind of moving along pretty well, so I'm kind of ducked in behind it and getting a bit of a drag, saving some fuel, and it's a lot easier than trying to ride up the front. So we just pulled over on the side here, and Tom's WR has got an engine lights come on. Check engine. So we're not sure. We had a good look over it, and it's not leaking any oil. It's got plenty of coolant. Yeah, there's nothing. There's no telltale signs of why that warning light would have come on. But anyway, Still got to keep going. Looks what we got here. Looks like a dead emu. Bit of roadkill. There's his head. Oh, poor old fella. There we go. Put this on his bike. Who wants it? Put it in there like that. There we look at that, Tom. So what about this? We pulled into the servo back at Hawker, and there was a heap of postie bikes and other motorcycles in there getting fuel, and we got in the queue, and some gentleman in motorcycle gear walked up to me and shook my hand and introduced himself to me and said, yeah, g'day mate, I watch all your videos. You know, what a small world. And I said, hey, his name was Rob, and we had a bit of a chat, and yeah, he said he likes all my videos, and he was really keen to see how this one turns out. But what he was doing, he was volunteering to be the sweep rider for a postie bash. I think it's the 2019 Apex postie bash out of South Australia, somewhere, maybe Adelaide or something. And they're raising money for cancer, and I'm not exactly sure what cancer they're raising money for, but I guess any type of charity to raise money for cancer is a good one. So yeah, good on those guys. I also met his brother Kevin. So Rob and Kevin, great work mate, top blokes. Thanks for liking my videos, and yeah, ride safe. And to all the blokes on that postie bash, wow, I admire it to be on this road and to be riding into this kind of wind. You'd be flat out at 40 or 50k an hour. But anyway, I hope you're having fun. So coming into the town of Lyndhurst now, and this town has the intersecting track. The Streslecki track comes in on our right, and you can jump on that, and I think you can head up to Imaninka. And it's not a bad one. We did that a few years ago. It's pretty well graded now. It's dirt, but you would call it a dirt highway, I guess. So yeah, Streslecki track, Imaninka to the right. We're continuing on through Lyndhurst and on to Maree. There's a few people about. You want wave? How you going, guys? So there we go, 78k to Maree. I've got as the crow flies, 75.6. And I'll see you further on. It's pretty much like this, very barren, very flat. Not much out here, this part of Australia. This certainly is the outback. And here we are coming into Maree now, and that's the Birdsville track up there. That goes to Birdsville, some 600 kilometres I think. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll just make sure this is recording. It is. So yeah, we've made it into Maree, famous old town where the 2-gauge railway lines met. So the ones coming up from Port Augusta, the train would stop here over at that platform there, and all the passengers and the food would get unloaded and put onto the other train, which was a narrow gauge line to head north. And I don't know what else this town did. Definitely back in the day it served all the Afghan Cameleers and everyone else, but they were soon replaced by the train, and then the train stopped running in the early 80s. But the town has survived and probably thrives on a bit of tourism and not much else, I guess. Well, we're going to get some fuel. I've got got my fuel light on, have a little breather, then work out what we're going to do. So as you would have seen, we're here in Maree. I just wanted to give you a quick status update on the bikes, especially my one since the oil leak that we had earlier. So come on over and have a look. So since tidying up that front sprocket nut and degreasing it all and cleaning it, the oil leak has stopped. So there is no oil in there. A little bit of residual possibly from the chain and or from the leak before, but if anything, it's slowed right up, which is good. There's Mark with some nightly refreshments. Probably should do a bit of an intro of the guys because you probably haven't seen them. Yeah, how about this one? All right, over here.
Like such a quintessential.
I'll spin around the other way though. So who we got? Who's this?
I'm no one. I don't have a YouTube channel, so I don't matter.
But you do matter. You're on the ride. You're in the desert storm.
I'm on the riding with Tom Paycheck. So I'm one of his characters.
So you're Brendon and you're riding. What are you riding, mate?
WR250R. This one.
Over here.
It's better than Tom's because I haven't got my bag. I know my checking the light hasn't come on, and I don't have a stick holding up like my exhaust. So pretty good. Yeah.
Pretty good, man. First time to the Simpson?
Yeah, I'm really excited.
You're loving it, mate.
For one.
You are.
100% success rate. All these boys have tried and failed.
Yeah, it's true, man. Well, you're flying through. You're going great guns. So.
Right after my bike explodes.
Excellent. All right. What about you, Mark?
Hey.
Hello, mate.
Bit tired.
Bit tired, mate.
That wind is getting to us.
What are you riding, buddy?
650.
Oh, sorry, everyone. This is Mark. This is Nerb's mate, Mark. He's on his 650, yeah?
Husqvarna 650. Yeah.
Beautiful.
650. So.
It's going well. It looks like it's well loaded up too, mate.
34 litres of fuel.
34 litres. Yeah. Another couple of litres of pale ale. Should go a day. Nice. First time to the Simpson, mate, or?
This will be the fourth time I've tried to get there and get across it. Too many times.
Oh, so a veteran attempter.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's make this one the real one, eh?
Someone hurt themselves in 2000. That was the first time I was here, so yeah, a long
there we
time,
go.
20 years nearly.
Cool, man. Cool. All right, we'll swing over this way now. And here's Nerb.
Hey,
How you going, buddy?
good. On the old faithful 1190.
Mate.
Fault free, except for a little bit of user error.
New engine.
Well, mate, like, as I said to you before, I'm hoping that you may be the first one across unsupported on that French line and that QAA on one of these. I am yet to see or hear of anyone.
Yeah, well,
Anyway.
I don't know. I don't know if that's the case or not, but
I'm not sure.
we'll make sure that this one does make it.
So, excellent.
Yeah.
So this is not your first attempt then, mate? I'm sure.
Well, only second, but
Yep.
last time we didn't make it. So last time we came east to west, and we got to Popel's Corner. We were struggling. We went about another 5 kilometres into the part they call the meat grinder. Is that what you've heard?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we went, some 4 drivers came the other way and said to us, you'll never make it through there. And then that completely demoralised us. So we turned around and went south on the K1 line. So yeah, this
I'm
time
bugged out.
trying to complete it.
Well, I'm sure we will, mate. I'm sure we will.
If this wind
Yeah, that's right. I don't know how well this footage is coming out with this wind. So that's all the lads. We're here at Maree. Yes. And we're just chilling. About to go a bit further. Oh, here's Tom.
Best, smallest town you've never heard.
And here's Tom. Everyone knows Tom. Riding with Tom on his WR250. Nice, mate. Couple of little gremlins, buddy.
Should be right.
Should be right.
That's the adventure.
And not your first time on the Simpson.
Nah, been there many times. Me and Simo, mate, we're best buds.
That's it. So from here, I think we're going to head to try and get to Coward Springs.
We'll stop
And-
at that viewing area.
Oh, yep. The viewing area.
Sunset.
Check out Lake Air. And then we'll see if we can go for a soak tonight. So we'll see you further on. So we're just leaving the town of Maree now. There's a little Afghan Cameli monument. And you can see the old Garn railway line over there. And we've got Mark pulled over here, just make sure he's all right. You good, mate? Yep. A nod of the head. And now it looks like we're on the dirt. At least now with the wind, it should get rid of the dust. So here we are, the Underdata track now, and we stay on the Underdata track all the way till we get to Mount Dare. I'm not sure, so with dirt comes corrugations. So now the fun starts. Alright, I'll see you further on. Now I've been on the Underdata track a few times now on a motorbike, once on my 1190 when I owned that, another time on this girl, and yeah, it wasn't fully loaded though, it was supported, and then today, so that's 3 times. And it just reminds me straight away of a game that I've played every single time, and that's dodge the corrugations. So yeah, it's just a never-ending battle of just trying to find a smooth line, I guess. And it's not so bad on the bikes, they do skim over the corrugations, but yeah, for whatever reason I just like to try and go around and miss them and try and find a smooth line. And sometimes I find riding up against the shoulder of the track is not too bad. Yeah, so anyway, got some oncoming traffic. The dust is blowing from left to right, which is really good. It's only when we're kind of in that direction that the dust hangs around a bit longer. So all the boys are up in front. We're a bit more spread out now than what we were when we were on the bitumen, you know, drafting each other. You know, now the dust has separated us all by a kilometre or so. And I'm bringing up the rear tail end Charlie. And the bike's loving it, being back on the dirt, it's really good. Certainly tough riding in this direction towards the sun. The further the sun dips down towards the horizon, the harder it is to see, so you've got to have all your wits about you, because the risk is right up. This time of day, wildlife on the Underdata track. So I'm still doing 100k an hour. The vision's still pretty good. I can see the dust trail of one of the boys up there in front. So we'll just keep going. It's pretty awesome though. I love it, absolutely love it. Here we are at the Lake Eyre South viewing area, 12 metres below sea level. And it looks like we've just made it, getting the last bit of light. Look at that cool photo too, yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm going to do the same there. Just a bit of so not ideal riding at this time of night again. You know, the sun's gone. I've got the high beams on. We've only got 27 kilometres before we hit Coward Springs, and that's it for the night, so not far to go. We all have made it to Coward Springs, all accounted for. And now we're going in to find a campground. Pretty hairy little ride in that last 40k, but we've made it safely. Now we can find a campground, set up, crack a tinny, and hopefully go and jump in a spring, in the hot spring. After a good swim in Coward Springs, everyone's dry and warm and clean, and we're all cooking. Nerb's got some huge. Oh,
I'm doing this for Mark.
Oh, I got some big naan bread. Brendo, what do you got?
I got the Times a Tough meal. It's just the dehydrated pasta. add 200 ml of water and put on the fire.
And in she goes. Look at that.
No
cooker. No cooker.
Mate, silver spoon these boys with the naan bread.
That's it, eh? I'm running some Running some rice in here, add a little bit of chicken to this, and good to go. Look at that. Beautiful.
You got a good set. What are you cooking?
Looks good there, Nerb.
Noodles.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but
Mate,
Smells good.
cooking some chicken rice with some chicken.
Good MSG in it.
That's it. Oh yeah.
Sodium.
Let's eat.